All right, it is 6 p.m., February 12th. I'll call this Farmville Town Council meeting to order. Recognize there is a quorum present at this time. Welcome all those in the chambers and all those who are tuned in online. Thank you for being here and for staying tuned in. At this point, I'll call for a brief moment of silence in recognition of Reverend Williams, who passed recently, a civil rights icon here in our town of Farmville. And there will be services of reflection and celebration this weekend for Reverend Williams. At this time, a moment of silence. Thank you. I will mention, because it was a topic of conversation earlier today with the town manager, Mr. Davis, and then the chief just updated that dispatch has received 354 calls and 214 trees down in those calls, and the call numbers continue to rise. It is a very busy time for a lot of our employees here in the town of Farmville, whether it's dispatch, public service, public safety, and we are fortunate for the work that all of you do, and thank you for the expeditious nature of which you attend to serving our constituency. Thank you very much for your efforts in that endeavor. At this time, I'll have a roll call, Ms. McKay.
Mrs. Amos.
Here.
Mr. Reed.
Here.
Mr. Dwyer.
Here.
Mr. Parrott.
Here.
Mr. Yolen.
Here.
Mr. Hunter.
Here.
Mr. Hardy.
Here.
At this point, we'll have the invocation, which I will lead. You're welcome to join if so inclined, and to abstain if so inclined. Following that, Mr. Reed, Vice Mayor Reed, will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. At this point, I would entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as presented if no changes needed.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it. Next up, is there anyone who wishes to make a declaration of personal interest concerning anything on the agenda? Not hearing any, we will move to the presentation and recognition of Farmville Police Officer Zachary Bryant and Sergeant Dalton Foley. Chief Ellington, are you going to start us off?
Good evening, everyone. It's my honor to stand here before you tonight to introduce two of our officers, Dalton Foley and Zachary Bright, for a spectacular job they did recently. To tell you about the Life Saving Award, the Life Saving Award is awarded to members who, by direct intervention, are reasonably determined to be responsible for saving the life of another. The member need not be placed on personal peril or risk. The Life Saving Award is second highest award the department can bestow on a member and is accompanied with a proclamation and a plaque. Mayor, would you do the honors?
Absolutely, thank you. And it is an honor. I have a proclamation here prepared and signed by myself and all of council for each of the gentlemen. Proclamation in recognition of the life-saving actions of Farmville Police Officer Zachary Bright and Sergeant Dalton Foley. Whereas in the early morning hours of Sunday, January 12th, 2025, Farmville Police Officer Zachary Bright and Sergeant Dalton Foley responded to a 911 call dispatched by Farmville Emergency Communications for a report of an unconscious male. And whereas Officer Zachary Bright was the first officer to arrive on the scene, and whereas upon arrival and entrance of the residence, Officer Bright encountered an unconscious male lying on the floor. And whereas he tried without success to get the patient to respond, he then administered CPR. And whereas moments later, Sergeant Foley arrived on scene to assist and immediately utilized the AED defibrillator on the male subject. And whereas both Officer Bright and Sergeant Foley alternately continued CPR, also administered Narcan to the subject. And whereas because of the quick actions of Bright and Foley, a strong pulse returned to the subject, and he was then transported by EMS to the hospital for care and has since returned home. Now, therefore, be resolved, the swift life-saving actions of Officer Bright and Sergeant Foley speaks to their extensive training and commitment to their public safety profession and this community. Be it further resolved that the Farmville Town Council expresses its sincere gratitude to both Officer Bright and Sergeant Foley for their dedication and diligent service to the Farmville community. Adopted this day, 12th of February, 2025.
Mayor, this is the second time for for Officer Foley, and then now Sergeant Foley. A few years ago, he and another officer saved a woman out of a burning car. So I don't know whether he's good luck or he just happens to be at the right place at the right time. I'm not sure what that is.
Whatever it is, I know two people are fortunate that you were there, and we thank you for that service.
Mayor, I would like to also add that I would be remiss if I did not include our 911 operators and what a fabulous job they did in taking this call that night. They worked hard keeping the family calm. They were very irate, but the family knew nothing about CPR. They tried to do the computer aid dispatch to give them CPR instructions, but were unable to do so. But again, they did an absolute solid job as well. They were not hands-on, but they should be commended as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chief. Oh, yeah, you get to stick around. Next up on the agenda is the introduction of Farmville Police Department's new officer and Officer of the Year.
Mayor, Council, it is my pleasure to introduce this year's Farmville Police Department Officer of the Year to Sergeant B.H. Paulette. The Officer of the Year status is awarded to an officer who has been voted upon by the command staff. Requirements shall include community involvement, commitment to the agency, and superior performance with a specific difficult task, and or a complete and consistent body of work throughout the year that exceeds normal expectations. Submissions by officers and supervisors are reviewed by command staff and to determine which officer has exhibited excellence in their position and has gone above and beyond the call of duty. This is the third highest award the department can bestow on a member and is accompanied by a uniform pin that may be worn throughout the year. The Officer of the Year recipient will also be the department's nominee to receive the VFW Law Enforcement Award. It's my privilege to present to you Sergeant B.H. Paulette. Congratulations. Thank you, sir. And last but certainly not least, it's my pleasure to introduce to you one of our, he's new to the police department, but he's not new to the town. Newest officer, Mr. Henry Nace. Officer Henry joined the town of Farmville as a communications operator in December of 2021, where he excelled until promoted to police officer in June of 2024. Henry graduated from the 104th Central Virginia Criminal Justice Academy December 18th, 2024, and is currently undergoing field training. Officer Nace is a husband and father. In his spare time, he enjoys playing with his son, hiking, and fishing. Henry looks forward to doing his part to make Farmville a safer place for everyone. And also, I'd like to make mention that Henry happens to be the grandson of the late Dr. Harold Nace and Miss Ann Nace, who served on Farmville's town council. So, a little special. So,
That's pretty awesome. Welcome to the team, and it's great to have another member of your family in the mix.
thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next up, this is it's a great start to a meeting here. We got an introduction of Farmville Fire Department's new firefighter. Chief?
Good evening, members of council. Here to introduce Mr. Kenneth Sapp, our newest firefighter for the department. Kenny started his service in 2008, volunteering with Meharrin Fire Department here locally. In 2012, he moved to North Carolina, relocated, where he obtained a lot of his certifications through accredited academies in North Carolina, and has since moved back in 2021 back to the Meharrin area. And we're very fortunate to have him serving with us today. Kenny's a local guy, so his heart is here to the community. He's eager to train, and he's shown that over the last month, getting acquainted to our department and our trucks in town. So we look forward to having him for a long time in the future.
Thank you. Welcome to the team. All right, now we'll move into the public hearing section of our meeting. We've got a couple of we've got 4 public hearings here. Number 1, ordinance number 238, to amend the official zoning map to rezone approximately 1.924 acres from R1 to B3. Do we have anyone signed up to speak on that, Ms. McKay?
No, sir.
All right, we will close ordinance number 238. Next up is public hearing on resolution number 2025-0201 for a conditional use permit to allow a public maintenance and service facility to support a public utility. Do we have anyone signed up to speak on that?
No, sir.
All right, we'll close that. Next up is resolution number 2025-0202 for a conditional use permit to allow a public maintenance and service facility to support a public entity per town code. Section 29-13.c. Anyone signed up for that?
No, sir.
We'll close that. All 3 of those related to a Dominion Power renovation expansion that we addressed and talked about in work session. Next up is separate from that, and that is a public hearing on resolution number 2025-0203 for conditional use permit to allow for a single-family residence in B2 transitional commercial zoning district. Do we have anyone signed up to speak there?
No, sir.
All right, we'll close that. Next up is the public comment period. Do we have anyone signed up for public comment period, Ms. McKay?
No, sir.
Anyone in here wish to speak in public comment period? Not hearing any, we'll close public comment period and move to the consent agenda. You have the draft minutes of the 2025-0108 regular council meeting before you. If there are no changes, do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved. Second.
Motion and second. All in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Ayes have it. Next up on the agenda is the finance report. Ms. Julie Moore with December 2024 and January 2025 finance reports.
Good evening. You have the December and January finance reports in front of you. For the ABM project, we earned $11,386 for the month of December and $11,086 for January. Again, this money goes towards future payments for that project. In December, we earned $14,626, and in January, we earned $14,945 at VIP. At the benchmark sweep accounts, we earned $8,457 in December and $6,045 in January. And then for LGIP, we earned $33,748 for December and $37,047 in January. So we earned a total of $56,831 in December and then $58,038 in January. Any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Moore at this time? Not hearing any.
Thanks.
Thank you. We have the 2024 December and January 2025 finance reports. Do I hear a motion to accept the finance reports as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Ayes have it. Under new business, we had 3 requested adoptions under the Dominion public hearing notice. Dominion is obviously very busy this evening, and we're thankful for their efforts, but they were unable to be here this evening to answer any questions or concerns, and so we will move the action and discussion to our March meeting. And that way, representatives from Dominion can be here for any questions. So that moves us to resolution number 2025-0203 for a conditional use permit to allow for a single-family residence in a B2 transitional commercial zoning district, 709 East 3rd Street. Do we have any discussion, or do I hear a motion concerning that resolution?
Move the approval of resolution number 2025-0203 for a conditional use permit to allow for a single-family residence in a B2 transitional commercial zoning district. And the address is 709 East 3rd Street.
Second.
Motion and second. Any additional discussion? Not hearing any. Ms. McKay, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer,
Yes.
Mr. Parrott,
Yes.
Mr. Yolen,
Yes.
Mr. Hunter,
Yes.
Mr. Hardy,
Yes.
Mrs. Amos.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. That brings us to resolution number 2025-0204 to adopt and allocate funds for an outdoor fitness court as part of the 2025 National Fitness Campaign, another item discussed in work session. Do I hear any discussion or a motion on resolution number 2025-0204?
I make a motion, we approve resolution number 2025-0204 to adopt and allocate funds for an outdoor fitness court as part of the 2025 National Fitness Campaign.
Second.
Motion and second. Any additional discussion at this time? Not hearing any. Ms. McKay, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Dwyer,
Yes.
Mr. Parrott,
Yes.
Mr. Yolen,
Yes.
Mr. Hunter,
Yes.
Mr. Hardy,
Yes.
Mrs. Amos,
Yes.
Mr. Reed.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. Next up are some annual occurrences. We've got the request acceptance of the Planning Commission 2024 annual report. We went over that in work session as well. Do I hear a motion to accept the Planning Commission 2024 annual report as presented?
So move.
Second.
Motion and second. Any additional discussion at this time? Ms. McKay, can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Parrott,
Yes.
Mr. Yolen,
Yes.
Mr. Hunter,
Yes.
Mr. Hardy,
Yes.
Mrs. Amos,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Then we have the request acceptance of the Board of Zoning Appeals 2024 annual report. Do I hear a motion to accept the Board of Zoning Appeals 2024 annual report as presented?
I make a motion to accept the zoning appeals 2024 annual report.
Second.
Motion and second. Any additional discussion at this time? Not hearing any. Ms. McKay, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Yolen,
Yes.
Mr. Hunter,
Yes.
Mr. Hardy,
Yes.
Mrs. Amos,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer,
Yes.
Mr. Parrott.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. Next up is a request for an appointment of a building official. Mr. Davis, you speaking to this?
I am. In recognition of the state code, any hire based on this position has to be approved by council of my appointment. And so I am requesting in essence, the person already works for the town, Mr. John Ramsey, for him to be made the building official on March the 2nd, 2025.
Do you have any questions on that appointment at this time? Not hearing any. Is there a motion to accept the appointment of John Ramsey as the building official for the town of Farmville?
I'll make a motion that we accept John Ramsey as the building official for the town of Farmville.
Second.
Motion and second. Any additional discussion at this time? Ms. McKay, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Hunter,
Yes.
Mr. Hardy,
Yes.
Mrs. Amos,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer,
Yes.
Mr. Parrott,
Yes.
Mr. Yolen.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. And that brings us to our town manager's report. Mr. Davis.
So we're going to go ahead and get started on some of the things that we just talked about last Friday at your retreat. You don't even have the notes yet, and you don't even have the work plan finalized and voted on, but we're going to move forward. We're going to meet with Davenport on a potential bond package this Friday. Just have more of a conversation of what we're looking at, getting a rating, getting what that will entail as far as seeking a bond this fall. We will be, staff will be meeting with engineering consultants on sidewalk infrastructure and incorporating those into our GIS. And that'll be the last week of this month that's scheduled. We'll also be meeting with Mosley Architects on the redesign of our dispatch center on the last week of this month. We're still working with ABM to finish out the rest of the water meters, install the leak detection, the EV charging stations. They actually met again with our building folks the end of last week. Solar is still being worked on as far as the layout at the water and wastewater treatment plants. And that'll be, obviously that's between, I believe the company is MCI and Dominion of getting that worked out. We're just the beneficiaries of that. And then we have some punch list items on other finished projects, such as the lights right there that were not actually the right, I think, amperage is what Brian has shared with me. So we do have some, that'd be Brian Vandergriff, not the mayor, by the way. He's not an electrician. So we're working through some of those on some of the items that have been completed, but that need some attention to. And also we mentioned UDAs last Friday. So Rick Youngblood with VDOT will be meeting with the county and myself on the last week of this month. So the last week of this month has a lot of attention to getting some information and sharing information. And then also, just to put out there for the chief, is the police department still accepting applications for their Citizens Police Academy, which starts on March the 20th and runs 9 weeks. And I'm open for any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Davis at this time? Not hearing any. I'll go around the room. Mr. Hardy?
Congratulations for the 2 officers and the life-saving. Welcome aboard to the new employees, and congratulations on the promotion, John. And that's about all I got at the moment.
Mr. Hunter?
I have one thing, and it started out about 2004 when I got on council. Coincidentally, a number of us on this diocese that were not here, but everybody contacted the town attorney and had a question, and some of the questions were the same. So what we did was everybody agreed to, all questions went to the town manager, and the town manager will get with the attorney, the town attorney, and then he would share the question with everybody on the diocese. Instead of us seeing on the bills people contacting the town attorney, and we have no idea what to contact them for. So it's just a general question to bring up to see what everybody wants to do. Because I'm sure Gary wants everybody to call him all day, all night.
He would love that.
Yeah. So it's just something, just a housekeeping rule to see how you all want to proceed. It could be the mayor. It could be, I'm just saying the town manager because he has more access to send things out.
And if I could, Mr. Hunter, when I became town manager, I'd heard from some members that they felt like they couldn't and that it had to go through the manager. It was a must. And my philosophy is, and I shared this with Mr. Elder too, we've had this conversation of, I'm happy to take those, and then if maybe I can answer it, maybe I can't. If it's simple, probably. If not, I can ask him. But I can't ever tell a council member, you can't contact the attorney because the attorney works for you.
And that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we come up with what we want
Sure.
to do.
But I
and
have
then we
said
proceed
that
forward.
to people as they've come on council over my time here. So I just wanted y'all to know that some of that may have been from me of not knowing that past history as well and not wanting anyone to feel like you had to go through me, being that, you know, you hire 3 people, myself, the clerk, and the attorney, and that, but I'd be happy to do whatever the council wishes.
I support Mr. Hunter's sentiments 100%.
I'm in agreement. In 10 years on council, I just have not had felt the need to, but I think it will help us control costs, and that's probably mostly what it's about.
I agree with that too.
I agree. We just need to go through Scott.
I don't need unanimity. No, we have a majority as it stands. If you would prefer not to voice.
I'm not going to cast my vote
Okay.
at this time.
Okay.
But I see where it's going. It makes good sense. It does. I just don't want to close that door in the future.
Well, yes, and I understand that completely, and I would say as well, you know, send them to Scott. But if it was ever something of Mr. Davis, if it was ever of a nature in which you didn't want to go through Mr. Davis, you're always welcome to reach out to me as well if you want to make it a point of entry there. Yeah, yeah. There's no charge contacting me, but all right. So it seems like the majority is on record preferring that mode of action. Mr. Hunter.
Thank you. That's it.
Mr. Yolen.
I don't have anything today. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Please. What is a UDA when dealing with Rick Youngblood and the Virginia Department of Transportation? I just didn't understand the UDA.
Urban Development Area?
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Barrett.
I'd just like to thank the town employees for showing up for work today. I was floored that they came to my house to pick up trash at 3:30 this afternoon in such a miserable day, but I thank them very much for their hard work and their due diligence.
Mr. Dwyer.
As always, that points itself to types of folks that want to work hard and work for the town of Farmville. So kudos. Thank you.
Mr. Reed.
Nothing tonight.
Ms. Amos.
Nothing.
All right, thank you. I will conclude briefly, as I know the weather continues to get chillier. We had this past month, we had a town-county meeting, joint meeting. We'll move to convene another one of those before or in the fall at the very latest, and then continue to work on those relations there, as they're important. What's good for the town is good for the county, and vice versa. And so it's important for us all to be on the same page and pushing forward, which was a consensus on council in the retreat in which we had this past week. We did a one-day retreat, biannual. It proved to be fruitful, just like the previous one, and we'll see things roll out as a result from that retreat as we move forward. My favorite part probably was hearing what everybody's version of legacy they would like to see this town council leave for the town, and what their impact be into the future. And I found that very inspiring. And thank you all for sharing your legacy visions in that retreat. I would echo Mr. Parrott's sentiments about our employees, public works, public safety, everybody who's out there taking care of things and getting things done. It's a testament to the workforce we have here and the kind of town we have. Also a tip of the cap to the line workers from Dominion and Southside Electric who are out there restoring power to many of the folks who are in the cold. It is tough work, and we are thankful for their efforts. And with that, if I'm not forgetting anything, is there any other topics of discussion at this time? If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Ayes have it. Be safe.